Welcome to Fragmental.
An amusing take on random topics. So, Mike, you sent a text today with like some '90s play. I didn't get it. This '90s playlist with like Mandy Moore. What's the story behind that?
Hey, do you got a problem with Mandy Moore? Mandy Moore's gorgeous.
Well, maybe she was. I don't know what she looks
Hey,
like now.
she's still on that one show on NBC. I don't remember the name of it right now, so this is probably a terrible example, but she's still pretty gorgeous on it.
I don't know. Let's look her
It's
up.
the
while you
one like
tell your
This Is
story.
Us. This Is Us. Yeah, that's the name of it.
She's on that.
Yeah.
This Is Us.
Yeah.
That's like a tearjerker thing.
I
Right?
mean,
Everybody
maybe.
cries on it.
I really haven't watched a lot of it. The parts I am watching, I'm not. Make no mistake, I am not listening to what the fuck anybody's saying.
To the dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks pretty good.
Yeah. So the joke I sent was like, who the hell put this on my playlist? And there's actually a backstory to that. So sorry you guys didn't get it. So that fucking sucks. But so when I was in college, just talking about those things that you like but you're embarrassed by. Look, Mandy Moore came out with an album, a couple albums. She was very attractive. She was a few years younger than me, so there were moments of that feeling weird, but it's okay. It wasn't like she was 8 when we were 18. I think she was like 15 when we were 18. So
half your age plus 7, man. It's proven.
Fuck, she was just under that. God, I'm a fucking predator. But anyway, so I remember before I left for college putting that CD on, and trying to set the mood with the lady, and back then 5-disc CD changers were big. So I had the Kenwood, I had the Kenwood 5-disc CD changer, and it was an awesome stereo system. Took it to college with me, so we could really throw down. And we're sitting there just like 4 of us, just dudes, just being dudes or whatever. And a guy walks up and hits the button, disc 4 or whatever. And I didn't think anything of it. I assumed it was going to be, I don't know, Skid Row, Master P, or who was another good 90s band? Mighty Mighty Bosstones. Fuck, I don't know. And no, it wasn't. So the first note drops, and immediately I'm like, oh my God. It was Mandy Moore, I Want to Be With You, which is, it is, you could say that was a tear-jerking love song. And one of my fraternity brothers instantly looks over at me, which he wasn't my fraternity brother yet, but he instantly looks over at me, and I'm like, how the hell did that get in there? And they're all cracking up at this point, and they're like, gee, dude, what are you doing? And everything I just described is exactly how I was trying to play it off. I'm like, dude, she's smoking hot. You can't even deny it. She's smoking hot.
So did you go out and buy the CD?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt.
All right.
But I mean, that's one of those, like, I probably wore sunglasses, like in a hat, and just they're asking questions, like, just fucking bring up the CD.
You had your back to the cashier so the camera wouldn't see you.
Right. Like I've got my FBI coat on, and I'm just like, would you just throw it in the goddamn bag? Oh yeah. So everything about it was embarrassing, because even my girlfriend, like the first time I played it, I'm like, lay her back, and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey, wait, is that Mandy Moore? And I'm like, would you just enjoy the moment? Like, what are we even talking about now? So yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things. Look, I owned it. You know me as a man with no shame. I did own it, but it was definitely one of those. I got caught by my fraternity brothers in a very compromising situation.
Well, compromising in the sense that, like, why the hell would you be listening to Mandy Moore? Not so much like you walked in and you were like masturbating to Mandy Moore. That's compromising.
Yeah, I waited till like 3 a.m. to do that.
You waited till everybody left.
So no, actually, as far as that goes, I actually lived by the code, and that was, once I discovered my roommate had all that porn, that's when I was like, all right, bro, rule number 1, there's no beating the meat in here. All right, like if I'm gone for the weekend or something, you do what you got to do. But if I ever catch you pounding the pelvin here, I mean, I'm going to let you finish, I guess, because I don't want to be there, but I'm going to bust your ass.
I'm going to leave the room, wait for you to finish, and then kick your ass afterwards.
Right. Like, I don't want any part of preload or anything. Like, I don't want, I'm not But yeah, that's a situation we're going to have to address later, and it's not going to end well for you. And then, yeah, when I was gone, I'd prefer to believe he still went to the bathroom.
You
So,
hope.
so yeah, I mean, do you have, look, that's pretty cringeworthy. I mean, maybe I was in touch with my feminine side a little bit. Probably some jokes that wouldn't pass from then that wouldn't pass the smell test today, but jokes
Well,
on them. I'm still straight and always was.
um,
Do you have any of
well,
those cringeworthy moments?
well, I don't know if they're cringeworthy, but we've joked about it before. My wife hates this, but like Love Island. I mean, that's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love Love Island. I don't know what it is. I tell myself and I tell my wife it's more about the social aspect of how they've like it's a psychological test of people locked in a fucking $82 million villa on Mallorca. It's a real fucking rough life, um all those trash shows, my wife is like, "Well, how do you get into?" I mean, so when I mention stuff like that, people are like, "You watch Love Island?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking genius." So, but it's shit like that. I mean, that's the one thing, and uh, like music. When you're talking music, when we were talking about this earlier, that it's funny. I was listening to ever heard of Ambrosia?
Yeah, like the fruit salad, it's got
No, it's a
the
band.
like the yogurt kind of.
No, it's a band from the 70s.
I've never heard of them. Is there a song they sing that
Baby
I
Come
would know?
Back, that's one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was rocking that out I was over at Kroger getting the pickup, and I'm like, I think it was that, or was it Toto? I don't know. One of those, like, growing up, like my cousins listened to that when I was little. So it's
Sun
like
rain
brings back
down in Africa.
brings back memories or whatever. And I pop the dude's like, hey, he's like, here's your order or whatever. And I just kind of turn the music down, and then he goes around back and I took it off so I could hear it anyway, or turned it up, and he pops the trunk lid, and the two speakers are right there in the back of my car, as he's putting the groceries in the back of my car, and I can see him, like, he's kind of nodding his head like he's getting into it, like, this is a good song, man. This is like kind of funny. Kid's like 16, but it was kind of funny. But yeah, it's shit like that. What did you say? You like? I'm not afraid to roll the windows up when I'm driving, but
Yeah, so it's fun, like, because there's different songs that take you to different places, right?
yeah.
Like there's some. I think one of the things I love about like the Love Island thing with you is you own the hell out of it. Like you don't. I mean, I riff on you, and so do other people, and you're like, look, I like it. These chicks are hot. The socially, it's interesting. Yeah, I enjoy it, and we're just like, man, like I love the fact that you just own
Yeah.
it.
Well,
And
that and
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the one thing I am kind of I make you and I joke about it a lot, but is the Sam Smith piece. But I do kind of roll the windows up when Sam Smith's on. So,
Right, we have.
but it's only like 3 songs. I mean, I'm not like a huge Sam Smith fan, but that fucker can sing. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, he's
So
too good at goodbyes. I mean,
Sam Smith is very good at goodbyes.
I mean, he's a great singer. It's just funny because it's like you'll send it. I'll get that text from you the most random time. Like
Yeah.
I'll be at a hayride and I get and I look at it and it's like fucking Sam Smith, and I'm over there laughing, and they're like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Sam Smith."
I'm
And they're
like,
like,
who?
what's wrong with that? Like Sam Smith, he's a beautiful young man and a great singer. What are you talking about? And I'm like, no, you don't get it though, fucking Dave. It's awesome,
It's
man.
it's on like a random playlist or something like that. So it just pops up every now and again.
But no, I think it's
But
great. I think we all have those songs that it's funny because there are definitely songs that I turn up, but I roll the windows up first. Like Roxette from the late 80s comes on. I'm like, yeah, it must have been love from Pretty Woman. This is my jam. Hold on. I got to roll those windows up. I mean,
yeah.
it's
And
better. Yeah.
the music's up just enough so you can hear it, but nobody outside the car can.
Oh, you're right. I'm not blasting it. I mean, those are solid 6x9s. I can't, like, I don't want to have to, it's bad enough that I'm full on singing it, and probably making eye contact with somebody. It's another, if they actually heard what the hell I was singing.
Oh, that's funny. What is some of, because we're kind of off on the cringeworthy stuff, but
Yeah.
but that but some of the stuff as we're talking, it really isn't cringeworthy. We're not cringeworthy. It's like people think I mean, it's cringeworthy to them. Like when I say like Love Island or what was the other? It's all these other. I watched Love Island US. That's not as good as the UK
Right, but
version.
it's a huge show that millions of people watch. So I
Oh,
mean, it's not like
it's massive. I mean, it's just
right.
absolutely massive. Like I'm watching it 82 million times to run the numbers up. That's a joking. That's a comedian's joking. Some stand up did that for porn. You ever see that one?
No.
He goes, "How many of you guys watch porn?" And nobody claps. He's like, "Oh, I'm the only one that does that hits those numbers."
But you're right. People are so embarrassed to admit they watch porn.
y-
You know,
yeah,
they're
exactly.
just like, no.
He's like,
But I
"Right,
mean, that
I'm
one
what."
chick, am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, the comedian's like, "Oh, I'm the one clicking on it 1 billion times a day. It's just all me."
Right. I go to every site constantly.
Yeah, I watch every video at the same time.
But you're right. That's I mean, porn is I think the ultimate one of those because you have the people who again are completely unapologetic. But even like I've heard Dave Attell make a bit about that. And or even masturbation. Like that's taboo. And he's like, who masturbates? And nobody said anything. He's like, oh, it's only me. You know, it's not weird when I masturbate. I light a candle. You know, and like again, you just gotta own it. And it's a hilarious bit. And he's like, don't ever invite me to a birthday party. Um, but yeah, I think that's a good one. I think that's very taboo, and people would be embarrassed to admit, or they're the complete opposite, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can't think of somebody right now off the top of my head, but Madison Ivy. I mean, come on, have you not seen her, take a dick from behind?"
Or it's something like, or you're like, "Do you watch porn?" And they're like, "Yeah," and then they go into some really fucked up porn. You're like, "Whoa, hey, what?"
Like, what was that, dude?
I didn't even know that existed.
They chopped a finger off. Like what was that? And they're like, oh, it sews back on within 20 minutes. It's fine. As long as you sew it on and put ice on it, it grows back.
Yeah,
It's fine.
that's yeah. There's a doctor on set.
Yeah.
It's perfectly
We're well
okay.
prepared. It's fine.
Like, what happened to normal porn?
But you're right.
You've heard,
Things have evolved. What's normal now?
yeah. You've seen that meme, right? About the guy walks into the hotel and asks the clerk behind the desk if they disabled if they had disabled porn, and the guy behind the desk goes, "Hey, sicko, we only have normal porn."
And then the guy proceeds to say, how's your Wi-Fi service? Free Wi-Fi, right? No, so you know what? So going to the opposite of cringeworthy, those things that some people would look at uh, is look, the song "Summertime" from Fresh Prince. I can go with that. If that song's 30 years old, and I don't give a shit. If that song comes on, I'm rolling the windows down and I'm blasting it, and I'm gonna have a hell of a time because it's a damn good song.
Well, the only thing I would push back on, I guess, is the way to say that. If we want to get all businessy on here, um, and so we can circle back and push back on that. Trying to think of a bunch of corporate buzzwords.
We're gonna grab the low hanging fruit here, and
exactly, exactly. Is the juice worth the squeeze? That's the one I fucking hate. I fucking hate that one. Why are you squeezing the fruit?
Right. At the end of the day, you got to see if it's worth it.
Exactly. That's the one thing I always say, and I fucking hate it. Is Summertime is like a huge hit. I don't think you can say like huge hits are cringeworthy. Like if you pull a song out of like nowhere, people are like, who the fuck listens to that? You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you're. What if they're a one hit wonder and it was a huge hit? Like there was a time.
Well, like
people were embarrassed by Rick Astley, and he came back though. Like I think he's cool again.
Oh, Rick Astley is massively huge.
Yeah,
cool.
But I think
he can also sing.
Yes, he can fucking sing.
What's the one with What's the one that I can't even think of it. I send it to you and Chris all the time, and you give me shit about shit.
Oh, Extreme song. Extreme.
Which one?
More Than Words.
More Than Words, right? Like you guys, like you cringe every time I send you.
You know what? Though? That's a good one because that is one that I think I probably roll the windows up. While we can argue all day that they are a one hit wonder, and I believe that's confirmed now, but that was a great song. Like it really was. Like in those days, there is not a person around who didn't listen to that. A lot of people lost their virginity to it. A lot of people went to Pound Town on that album. And they didn't listen to any of the others, obviously. But It was good
Uh,
shit.
yeah, well, I mean, it was, but you guys just give me shit about it every time. It circles around like with the Sam Smith shit. So,
Yeah, but
um,
I think that's because you tried to claim they had other hits, and they don't have any other hits. I mean,
they had other hits. They were huge.
okay, yeah, I mean, we'll agree to disagree here, but um, but I mean, I see what you're saying, but I mean, there are still some of those. Now, here's one where I'm not embarrassed, but I think most people would be. I Touch Myself by the Divinals. Like I will. That's one
Yeah,
I'm rolling the windows down, and I'm probably dancing in a way that I think some people would call pushing the limit. But it's a damn good song. It's catchy. I've made eye contact with people while singing it, and I know they're weirded out. They're absolutely they don't feel cool in that situation.
I don't know if I'm cringeworthy on it. I think that I don't like the song, so it's kind of like meh to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. I think it's a funny song.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, are there other, what else? I mean, we've joked about this kind of stuff on here, but like, what are some of those other cringeworthy things that I don't know if you're ashamed to admit you liked it or you liked it back then and you'll still fight it to the death, even though it's like unacceptable today. Like, you got anything like that?
It's kind of funny. It's not like it's kind of like self embarrassing. It's not like anything else, or not even embarrassing, but cringeworthy to myself is like back in the day there was you love this song, or I can't even think of one right now, but and you're like, that's like, you listen to it like 1,000 fucking times, right? Just crushed it. And then you hear it come on, or you like, oh, well, let me listen to that song. I haven't heard that in decades. And you're like, oh, this fucking song is horrible. Like, what was I thinking?
I really,
Um,
I remembered Richard Marx being so much better than this.
hey, he's talented. Um,
He really is. Actually, I think he's an extremely accomplished songwriter.
I, we were watching. This isn't really cringeworthy, but you're like, what the fuck? I was watching Chips. Remember Chips?
Yeah, Paunch.
Just yeah, Ponch and John,
Yes.
and it was on. I was watching. It was on one of these fucked up channels, and I'm like, oh, they had like 10 minutes to go before some other show was coming on. So I'm like, oh, let's just watch Chips to finish this up. And I'm like, this fucking show is stupid. I mean, it's just
And
like,
loved it back in the day.
oh,
Like,
absolutely
oh
loved
yeah,
it back in the
Paunch
day.
was with the sunglasses. Like he was big shit back then.
The one thing I reminded myself, the reason I brought it up, partially the reason I brought it up is to remind myself is, remember Bonnie, the blonde that was on there? She was the
don't.
only female California Highway Patrolman.
I don't really remember it that well, so that may
No,
say more.
well,
about me, but
I
keep
gotta go
going.
look her up and see what she did. That's all. I'm like, huh, I didn't. Bonnie. Actually, Bonnie looks pretty good for 1970, whatever that show was on, early 80s.
Yeah, I mean it was a good show back then.
It's kind of cringeworthy, not so much. I get like people, like when you're people watching and you're just like, ugh, what the fuck. Now that's super judgmental on my part. Don't get me wrong.
So what? Yeah, who's a cringeworthy person that you're embarrassed to be around?
I'm not really embarrassed to be around, but like when you see, like, I don't know, like I was trying to think of like some of the way people dress. This is like hugely fucking judgmental as shit. People are gonna listen to this and be like, you're a fucking loser. Um, but just I don't know, like people that don't let go of what they wore in like high school, or they're still hanging on to like the high school days and shit. So they still like wear their Letterman jacket and they're like 50.
Oh yes, that one is a huge one with me. I never bought a Letterman jacket.
We didn't even have any.
I mean, it never. First of all, I always thought they were ugly, and plus, I'm like, I mean, I play some sports and stuff, but it's not that doesn't define me, So, yeah, because my parents were like, "Hey, do you want a Letterman jacket?" I'm like, "God, no." Like, you could spend $150 on like almost anything else, and I'll be good with it. Yeah, I was not. That was one. Yeah, it definitely bothers me when somebody wears that past the age of 19.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, when they wear it after high school.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say. Like, maybe you turn 19 the summer after you graduated. Like, I'll give you that. Like the
Mhm.
summer before you go to college, although it's going to be hot and it's the summer, you don't need a fucking Letterman jacket. But yeah, people who brought those to college, they got ripped on.
Yeah.
They're like,
Or
bro.
you're like, dude, you should really put that away. Why? I like it. You're 50. Let it go.
Like, that just, I got to be upfront with you, man. That hasn't fit you in 10 years.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't even button that fucking thing.
Right? It's more of a shawl at this point. That is not a goddamn jacket. No, that's a
Yeah,
good one. Like
yeah.
they're still living back in the day, or
Yeah, back in the day.
But then that gets to the point where it's almost like it's sad because you're like, oh, dude, you're in your 30s and you're
Talking about
mad. Yes, you're mad that somebody broke your tackle record and you're trying to prove that they didn't. Like, dude, you're 38, man.
let it go.
It's time to let it go. If my kids ever ask me about cool stuff from my high school sports, I'll tell them, but I'm not gonna Al Bundy it. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's funny. My buddy has said this before. Where it's just like reminiscing is awesome, but if you don't make new memories, reminiscing becomes really, really fucking sad because you have nothing else but what.
Oh yeah, reminiscing's funny because to me, what's cool about reminiscing is the things you didn't catch in that moment. You know, when you're like, man,
oh yeah,
you know what? I think I could have fucked that chick now that I think about it. Like, what really, dude? She was the prom queen. What makes you think that? She ate popsicles around me all the time and deep throated them. Like, I didn't notice that in the moment, but now I do. I think I could have fucked her. You know,
in the lunchroom, she peeled a banana with her tongue. What?
Right, and the prom king asked me if I would let him check my oil. But now that I think about it, I think he was just really experimental. It's weird.
Exactly. Now he lives in Boca with Phil.
Right. Now his Uncle John and Aunt Phil. But, I mean, they're still good people.
In Palm Springs.
But no, that's because I think we all do that. Like, you get with some of your buddies and you think back to some of that. But, yeah, it's not. I had a great time when I was younger, but I do not look at high school as by any means the best years of my life.
Oh God, no. So I think the best years of my life were like my early 20s.
You know, I could probably point to a lot of different instances. Like, you know, obviously the birth of all my children, I have to say that just in case any of them listen to this. But
when they listen to this in 40 years, when they're adults.
But I mean, I can think of so many things throughout my life that were way more enjoyable than really. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to be lame here with the Mandy Moore thing, but I mean, the best part of high school was that's where I met my future wife. So I mean, those are the great memories. You know, when
okay, great.
You know, the first time I learned I could fuck somebody standing up, try the spider. You know, the spider position. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you just try some of those crazy things, different places, front yards, tents. You know, I mean, those are the dinner. You know, those synagogue. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. There's a reason I was sat in the back. You can come up now, hon.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, that was by far the best part. I had a great time. You know, met a few of my lifelong friends there. But yeah, I'm definitely not Letterman jacket guy. That's awesome.
That's great.
The guy that pulls out like the old beat up Trans Am and listens to Here I Go Again on my own.
He still drives it.
He's got a bandana on, but not but he rolls it up so it doesn't cover his whole head. It's just more of like, you know, Danielson style. But it's
just to keep the sweat off his brow.
Yeah, like that guy. I mean, good for him, man. I mean, he owns it, but I'm not that guy.
Like Frank the Tank and old and
yeah, it's exactly what I'm picturing. Yeah. Frank, hold on real quick. Whoa. Oh
that's
man.
Funny.
Go ahead.
You know, cringeworthy wise, I'm just thinking back to like, we joke about the Z Calvarucci's, but the little white. I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? But you like the little, like the half boots, the half zip boots with the white half zip boots with the Z Calvarucci and the suspenders.
Dude, in the day, like that was the thing.
Yeah, I guess, but my God. I mean, I love the 80s, but some of the fashions were like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Oh, you can look back at a lot of the 80s, definitely, man. They had some crazy fashion. Leg warmers, come on. I think those are pseudo coming back. I don't know.
What the fuck did people need leg warmers for? Like
I don't know.
And they're always crumpled up at your fucking ankles. They were only keeping your calves warm.
That's what I
mean,
was
it
going
wasn't
to
even a
say.
leg
Like,
warmer.
how cold do your shins get? I mean,
If they're that cold, you have a blood flow problem.
Exactly.
You should see somebody about it.
Your problem isn't your socks.
The problem is your circulatory system.
Right,
Fucking
you
go have that checked.
You need a statin is what you need because you've got...
There's some blockage somewhere. Have you had your cholesterol checked? Holy shit.
Right. Lipitor has been generic for years.
From the 80s even.
You're right. Oh, that's awesome. You're right. So the acid wash jeans, like those, although I've seen them around a little bit. Like, I don't know if they're just designers that are hoping they'll put them in stores and people will buy them.
Everything's circular. So was talking to somebody that we were joking about it, and I think some of that shit is coming back. So
I mean,
That's
yeah,
a face.
I'm not gonna buy them. I mean, I'm still more of a, you know what, I'm still more of the relaxed fit jean. Maybe a just something that carpenter jean. I'm good with that. I'd like to put a hammer, behind the back of my knee. That's you never know when you're gonna need it.
That's the worst fucking place for that shit too. As coming from a guy that did construction, you're like, you go to bend down, you're like, motherfucker, because it jams you in the calf.
The claws in the back of your quad. You're like, God.
Yeah. What the fuck? Who designed this goddamn thing?
Like, I knew this the last 4 times I wore the pants. Why do I keep doing this? God.
It's great if you're walking. You like, I'll just put my hammer here and I'll just walk. But if you have to do anything, you gotta take your fucking you gotta take all that shit out before you even do anything.
Oh yeah, that was another good one. Cargo shorts, I still wear those.
Yeah, everybody wears those.
Yeah, they're comfortable. Like, that's what
they're cargo shorts, man. They're useful. You just pack them full of shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like to put a ton of things in my pockets. I've got enough bulging through there.
Yeah, okay.
I was referring to my stomach that I tuck inside my belt, but
I was referring to my penis. But okay.
Some have asked if it's a uterus, but it's not. It's you got prostate problems, dude?
Exactly. You should need that checked along with the chick with the fucking leg warmers.
You guys you should just create a joint appointment and just knock this out.
Just knock it out.
Yeah.
You and your leg warmer wife should actually go have that shit checked out. But the fucking hairspray, all the Aquanet. I mean, that hair metal shit.
Huge hair, yeah.
Yeah.
But hair metal was, I mean, dude, that lasted a full decade. That was cool.
Yeah, where I grew up, it wasn't super popular. So being a hair metal guy was like out of scope, as they say. So I kind of
fucking business terms.
I know, out of scope.
Look, the hair metal was out of scope where I'm from. The low hanging fruit was really more around the carpenter gene. But
at the end of the day, though, the juice was worth the squeeze. Sorry, I worked till 6:30 today, so I'm still kind of in business mode.
The juice was worth the squeeze. That's funny. But you're right, though. So that's an interesting take, because so when I said I was going to Syracuse, everybody is like, oh my God, big city. Oh, New York. And I'm like, no. Like, think, 6 to 8 hours north of there. And
think Canada. That's what you want to think. Canada.
Think like a smaller version of Columbus. That's what I will be living. Like, it was not, but it was interesting because, right, you see the things on TV that are in the big cities, and eventually they work their way out to the smaller towns. Mm-hmm. Maybe not where you were from, but
no,
in Columbus, I mean, they were like 3 years behind New York.
That's what they tell you.
They're like, what are these wide leg jeans? What the fuck is that? Those are like 30 inches long. I can't believe I can't think of them right now. I'm really disappointed because
it's letters, right? It's like BCG.
Jeanco, JNCO, Jeancos. Like, Jeancos were big in the late 90s, maybe mid 90s. They died pretty quickly, I believe. But
yeah, that was super fast. That went super fast because that was like when all the, like everybody was like wanted to be. It was like a hip hoppy thing, wasn't it?
So it was more skaters, which is what.
Oh, okay.
Which it ended up with hip hop, though. That was even funnier because you know what? I think the one thing that brought the skaters and the hip hop fans together was weed. So I think that's they
Oh,
all
weed
bond.
brings everybody
Yeah, they
together.
all bonded over weed. So it's like, man, you guys like. I kind of feel like you guys would hate each other, and they're like, nah, man, it's cool, it's cool. But
Well, that makes sense. Everybody's fucking stoned out of their mind and like, oh, this is a good idea. These big fucking wide-legged jeans.
but I always found it funny. Like you've got these huge wide leg jeans, like 40 inches wide, and you're skating. Like there's no damn way those are helping you as a skater.
Well, it's not like they need the aerodynamics. I mean,
Oh,
I
I mean,
mean,
if you get ramped high enough, do you just pull on the pant and you just you parachute down?
exactly, exactly. That's how they save themselves. They would just quickly grab their ankles and it would fill with air, and they'd
So
just be like float to the ground.
I told my wife, I was like, if I think Gene Co jeans are trying to come back, I think I'm going to buy a pair for my son. And she's like, why would you do that to him? And I'm like, because he'd own it. He's funny.
It is all about owning it. I mean,
Oh, that's the key. I mean, which is, I think, also why we might be two people that aren't the greatest at talking about cringeworthy stuff because we typically own the dumb
yeah,
shit we do.
exactly. Like we're struggling with the cringe. We're like, how is that? Like somebody sees us, like, holy fuck, why would they do that? We're like, I own
Again,
this.
yeah. I'm like, if people are giving me a look and I'm like, it's Richard Marx. Like, if you don't like this, the problem's you. Whatever you want, whatever you do, I will be right there waiting for you. Fuck.
The guy's got like 18 fucking Grammys.
Oh, extremely accomplished songwriter. But I mean, that it was solid, 80s helmet hair he had there too.
Oh god, that was awful.
The
Yeah,
80
I was rocking the mullet back in the
oh,
early
nice.
90s.
But was it full, like really short on top, super long in the back? Was it like Kentucky waterfall, or was it just more? It was longer in the back, but you still kept it somewhat neat.
It was somewhat short on top, but definitely longer in the back. Went to my high school reunion, and one of my buddies was like, was giving me shit about the mullet, and I'm like, I didn't have a mullet, and he rips out this picture from like the day of graduation, and I'm like, fuck, my back of my hair is really long.
I had a mullet. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly, a big time mullet. I think later on, I let it go longer, but I don't know, because I can't stand hair in my face, but I wanted long hair, so I had the mullet was the only way to go.
Okay. I mean, I probably had the beginnings of it, and then I realized the haircut was fucking lame. So I cut it off. But what about speaking of cringeworthy, what about the rat tail?
Ugh, the fucking rat tail.
You had the guy.
That's a poor man's mullet.
And I mean, I would say both places were rocked in the same demographic. But yeah, I think it's hilarious because you had the guy, he's at the skating rink and he's got it like draped over his right shoulder and he's brushing it. And you're like, what? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, is it like a security blanket? Like, what are you doing here?
Why did your barber stop there?
Right. I mean, it's weird. Why would he cut on both sides and run out of batteries in the middle of the back? I don't get it. And it was curly
for like
for
8 straight months. He really ought to get that shit fixed.
Because I mean, I had a buddy who did that, and it was so embarrassing. Like when he would brush it, and I'm like, dude, please stop this.
Well, he doesn't want we were just talking about it earlier.
Poon?
He doesn't want
He definitely didn't. He was all talk clearly because he was repelling him like a motherfucker.
He didn't want that one dread off the back of his head.
Because I mean, that's a real seller right there. Like, hey, do you want to grab my rat tail while I'm chowing that beef?
I didn't get the rat tail piece. Like, and the couple of the people that I sort of knew that had them, they were short. They even looked dumber. Like
just a little like nub.
Yeah, like an inch or two longer, 2 or 3 inches longer than and they were like their head was like almost like buzz cut, and then they had this fucking long nub. Hair. It's like what the hell? I mean, if I pull that, do I pull the rest of your hair out? Is that everything's kind of like, is that like if I grab it, I just pull all the hair like back through your skull?
Like if they cut that, Samson, are you fucked?
Samson.
Oh yeah,
that was Greek. For those of you who don't know, that's some Greek mythology right there.
That's biblical. I mean, that
it's
Old Testament, but it's
well, I don't know. I only know New Testament.
Yeah. I mean, this is more my time, but
yeah, it's more your stuff.
Yeah, the Hebrews, we were kind of running things back then, but yeah, Samson and Delilah, right? Except those rat tail thieves. That was like years ago, a group of guys I used to play fantasy football with. That was what one of the guys every time, like, those were the days when you had to go like around the room and actual draft. It wasn't
Oh,
just a quick online where you're done in an hour and a half.
hmm
And yeah, he'd always be like, Heeb, you're up. I'm like, you know what? You say that 13 or 14 more times, I'm going to fuck you up.
At some point, this is going to get offensive.
Right. But with each beer, it gets funnier. It makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each beer I have, I get less and less offended.
Right. And you get way more offensive. By the end of it, he's like, who's going to draft the Pollock Janikowski? And it's like, dude, like, what? We're done here. I don't want to see where this is going to go.
Exactly.
Fucking
You're
Adolf.
not wrong. I'm just saying.
Like, you're not going to stamp a star on my arm, are you? Because this is starting to freak me out.
Exactly. Yikes.
But yeah, those are funny. So a little more recent, and I think I am well documented talking about how much I hate these skinny jeans. Like, is that going to die
Ugh,
at some point soon?
I hope
Preferably.
so. That's cringe. And speaking like back to my Love Island. Everything circles back to Love Island, man. I don't. It doesn't matter where we go. We're gonna bring it back to Love Island. They all had like the fucking like the where's the rest of their pants with like loafers and no socks. I got like 8 inches of his fucking ankle showing as they walk around. I'm like, you look more feminine than the girl you're supposed
Dude,
to be coupled up with.
and those are like big right now. Like, you see
Oh,
that
geez,
on all
massive.
well, I guess red carpets aren't really happening right now, but like at all the sports things, like, Dwayne Wade's big on that. Like, no socks, loafers that actually look like they're probably 2 sizes too big. Like, they're really long and pointy. And then yeah, you're seeing ankle, almost shin. And then yeah, same thing. Like, don't you dare ask him to raise his arms, because that's going up to elbow. And Dwayne Wade's a
And
good
they get
looking dude. I mean, he can pull off a whole lot of things. It still looks weird to me.
well, yeah, and he's not like in his 20s. I
No,
mean, the
he's
dude's
like,
got to be.
yeah, I think
He's
he's
like
late 30s.
40s, right?
I think
Yeah,
late
late 30s,
30s.
early
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah. How old's LeBron? 36. So he's in that 35 to 38 range. Yeah.
No, he's got to be older than LeBron.
But only by like a year or two.
No.
Yeah. I think they
No,
might
can't
even have
be.
been in the same draft. Yeah, they
I
were,
don't buy
because
it.
he played at Marquette and Syracuse beat them in the tournament with Carmelo. So that was all the same year. I think Dwayne Wade was drafted like 5th, but he played in college for like 3 years. So yeah, he's in that 2-3 years older than LeBron.
How funny is this? Of course, we're in Columbus, and I'm going to type in Dwayne Wade. So I type in Dwayne, it comes up Dwayne Haskins. That's the first thing that pops up.
Well, I mean, that's a fad that hopefully comes back.
He's 39.
There you go. All right, so I mean, I'm a little bit off, but I think he's still in that 3-year above LeBron range. He's a good-looking dude, but it's still like some of LeBron. Have you seen his suit, his suit that was with shorts a couple years
No.
ago? It was like, dude, I know you're LeBron James, and you're infinitely cooler than me, but you're wearing fucking shorts with a suit, bro. Like, that's not a good look for anybody.
Oh, you know what's cringeworthy to me, or cringy to me? Not really cringeworthy, but cringy to me.
Yeah, what you got?
Is Cam Newton. What is that dude? I mean, with the scarves and the hats and
Oh yeah,
the man purses and
yeah. That's like he's wearing the scarf similar to Thelma and Louise. Like, it's not even like
exactly.
that.
Are
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he have like a kerchief on his like around his head?
Right, like, yeah,
He's
Thelma.
like,
What's don't get me wrong, like, you're an amazing athlete, but I'm really confused by the shawl with the scarf and the bag. Like, you got to stop calling that your wallet. That's not a wallet.
exactly. The way you played today was like you drove off into the fucking Grand Canyon.
Yeah, man. He's like, I give him credit on one hand because he has the courage to do those off the wall things, but it's just like, man, like,
But is it like him trying to be off the wall, or does he think that's style?
see, that's what I don't know. Some of those guys, I think they want to be style. So like LeBron with the shorts as a suit. Like, I think they're like, look, I'm LeBron James. I'm Cam Newton. Like, I can do whatever I want. And I mean, LeBron James is one of the most recognizable, famous persons in the entire world. But you're still not going to make a suit and shorts cool. It's not. Maybe Big Dick Black Guy could, but I mean, that's just those are
Well,
for
this
very
dick would be
different.
hanging out the shorts.
That's what I mean, because then they're gonna be like, well, I mean, dude, that thing is 5 inches wide and 3 inches long outside of the shorts. Like that's like you. That's pretty. If that's not functional, I don't know what is.
It has a sock and a shoe on.
So what do you call this ensemble?
Third man walking.
Yeah. I like to call this the kickstand.
If you know what I'm saying.
Don't get me excited, it'll rip the pant leg.
Exactly. I'll fall over. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes to your point, like they want to be fashionable. I don't know if they. I mean, a lot of those guys have like personal assistants or personal fashion people. So
that's what I think is like, and it's their person who's like, come on, like you're Cam Newton. You know, like if you wear this, who's not going to think it's cool? And he's like, yeah, I'm Cam fucking Newton, right? Is what's Thelma and Louise? Oh, don't worry about it.
I've never seen it.
I don't know what it is, but you're pulling this off. Man, it's good. It's hot. This is so hot right now.
Exactly. People keep calling me Thelma. I don't get it.
Why? Like, what's the Brad Pitt reference? I don't get this. Like, why do people think I should be fucking Brad Pitt right now? I don't. I'm lost.
Oh, Brad Pitt was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He gave her first orgasm.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I must have missed that part.
I don't remember it because
boom.
You know what else is cringeworthy? That was great. That was so well timed, as most guys do. Bam. Now I know what Cam Newton was hiding in his fucking purse. It was a goddamn map.
Exactly. How to get out of the Grand Canyon.
This is how you find the man in the boat. Some call it the bean. This is where it is.
Yeah, the man in the boat. I love that line. Yeah, it's like it's a map to the bean. I'm trying to think of who else dresses that way.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's I don't watch the award shows because I just think they're lame. But it's all of them. Like now you have shows that are just dedicated to people. Like they just go and interview them all. Like, who are you wearing? Whoever,
like most of the people watching that fucking show is going to go, I'm going to run out and buy that fucking dress. It's 40 fucking grand.
Right. Like, do you know where I can find $5,300 sweatpants?
$7,000 leg warmers.
Right. Because Russell Crowe is wearing those gray sweats. Man, they really look good on him.
Oh, that's great. I'm trying to think of I'm just trying to think of a designer real quick to say I got I need some, I don't know, Jimmy Choo men's sweats for $5,300.
Vera Wang, do you have any scarves I could pull off?
What do you mean they're $4,000?
Right. What kind of silk is this? My God.
These are burlap. What the fuck?
Right. Like, did you get these from the grocery store? Like, I feel like there was corn in this.
It literally says potato on the outside.
No, that's what Big Dick Black Guy over there is packing.
That's fucking great.
But I mean, there's so many of those things. I'm trying to think of, so is there one thing that just drives you nuts? I mean, I've already probably unveiled mine with the skinny jeans, but I mean, is there just one of those that just when you see it, you're like, God, why?
Like clothing wise or just in general?
In general.
Because the list is too long.
Do you have like a major one then? Because that's the thing. Like, I'm also big on like, hey man, if that's what you do, that's what you do. Like, I'm not, I don't understand why, but I mean, that's cool, man. I'm not gonna, like, I'm probably
way too judgmental to be like, oh, that whatever you do, man, it's cool.
Well, that's what like people. I know there's some people who just like reach out to random people on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh my God, what fucking pants are you wearing?" Jesus, like I'm not into that. Like I'm not. I'm like, look, man, I don't have to like it, but
you know what?
That's what they do. That's what they do.
I'm with you. It's kind of like, hey man, rock whatever you want to rock. But when I get behind closed doors, I'm like, that's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I'm super judgmental.
Well, if they asked me, I would tell them. Like if Cam Newton was ever like, what do you think of the scarf? Like
when he comes by your house this weekend.
Yeah, like what do you think? I'd probably be like, feel like I need to blow my nose. I don't. You look like an early '90s. You're all about female empowerment, which I'm for. But I don't. Yeah, I'm not feeling this. I wish you'd take that off. You're probably going to be the butt of our jokes for the rest of the night. You'll beat my ass, but I'm not going to stop ripping on you for this.
As you're punching me in the face, I'm gonna keep ripping you out the fucking scarf you have tied around your neck.
I think I told you that, like, um, where I called the guy. The guy's name was Orlando, and I just kept calling him a different name.
It's a different, yeah, city from Florida.
So, like, the whole night at the bowling alley, I'm like, Miami, can I get you anything? And he's just like, God damn. Like, I could tell it was pissing him off. But it was, I think that's how I would have handled it if he would have beat my ass, you know. Like, if you weren't from Key West, this would be a much better shot. You know?
You punch like you're from Key West.
But yeah, those are. I think that's also how we are. Like, I'd much rather rip on somebody to their face when they open the door. Like, I'm certainly not a vindictive like prick.
Right.
But if you're going to open the door, like, hey, how do you really think about this? I'm like, you really want me to answer that?
Exactly. Well, exactly. I'm the same. But also the people that know us know that we're gonna go there, so they're kind of like waiting for it.
But it goes back to the intent, right? So that's how
Yeah.
somebody can make a Jewish joke in fun, and I'm like, that was actually a pretty good one. You know, I mean, sure, I lost 80% of my family, but that's fine. I mean, like, I see where you're going with that. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. I got
But you know when they're like, this motherfucker's crossing the line.
Yeah. No, you do. I can't think of anything that really that's like the one thing. I mean, the skinny jean thing is that whole ankle
I think
thing
that's
fucks
one.
the fuck
Yeah,
out of me.
that's a big one for me
That's
too.
just. I mean, that's the latest. I think that's just the latest one right now. I tried to wear pull out hats. Hats are. I mean, not like baseball hats because I have one on right now, but like what's the fuck? What do they call those pork belly hats or whatever the fucking hipsters wear?
Pork belly hats?
But they set them way back on the back of their fucking head. Like, it's not even like they're not like when they wore them in the 50s, they would wear them down.
Where it was kind of down over your eyes a little bit.
Yeah, so kind of blocking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my chair. Now they wear them the back, way in the back of their fucking head, like on the any farther back, and it just fall off. I mean, they must pin their hair to it.
You're like, listen, Huck Finn. Like, I don't know, like, what is that? Yeah, hats are weird, or an interesting one because I'm a huge hat guy. Like, I wear a lot of baseball caps, skull caps, beanies. Like, I'm probably I wouldn't say a connoisseur, but I'm damn near a collector because if I see a good one, I am gonna buy it.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't bought a $1,000 hat or some stupid shit like that. But if I'm out and I'm like, you know, wherever shopping, and I'm like, man, that's a sweet looking hat. $15, I'll buy it.
No, I get it. I just they all have that. What the fuck was her name? She was a singer. Used to not Mandy. I went Mandy Moore, but
you know,
she was an '80s singer.
Mandy Moore does not shit.
White Knight. I can't think of her name right now, but she wore one of those hats in the back. And most guys that wear hats like that look like her. So I guess I get the two confused.
She was from the Mandy Moore late '90s era.
No. I think it was a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
I can't think.
I'm drawing a blank.
It doesn't matter.
I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry.
Well, I am too, and I'm the one that brought the fucking thing up. So, I don't know. Anyway, I think we've exhausted what we've done. So
yeah, I mean, it's nice. You know, every time we do these, I feel like it's an opportunity for our listeners to get to know the dumpster fires that are us a little bit. You know,
exactly.
And give them something else to rip on us, which I always welcome.
My cousin Laura will get most of this. Carrier was probably tuned out fucking 35 minutes ago. So
I think my brother-in-law will get it. I mean, my in-laws, you know, kind of grew up with the '80s. So
yeah,
I think. But it's back to, you know, it's fun to reminisce because we've lived better opportunities since.
Yes, absolutely. So
that's good stuff.
Yep. All right, man.
All right.
I will talk later.
Yeah,
remember
check us
go
out
ahead.
on check us out on Instagram at, I don't know, what's our Instagram, Dave?
At Fragmental Co.
At Fragmental Co. You can find us at Fragmental Co on Twitter. Check out our website, fragmental.co, and as always, you know, drop us a line, give us an idea what you want us to talk about on the show. Is there something that bothers you? As you know, since we've gone a full episode of being the old men that shake their fists, drop us a couple lines.
I got to run outside and get on the porch right now. So
I'm gonna go yell at some kids to get off my lawn.
exactly. Go sit in your chair.
My smoking jacket.
No, that's only in the living room.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Anyway, all right, Mike.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, man.